Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I'm your host. And I am excited today. You guys, listen. First, just stop what you're doing and share this out. Let's do that first. Share this out on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter or X. Let's share this out because the woman that I have on today is amazing. Her name is Loa Blasucci. Blasucci. Let's see if I got that right. Loa is absolutely one of the most you'll see. Her energy is unreal. Like you will love this woman. So share it out so all of your friends and family can love her too. And stay with us. We will be right back. And we are back. Let me bring Loa on. Loa, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Ken. Happy to be here.
I am so Oh, do you know Larry? Do you know Larry?
I sort of do. Yes, I don't know him personally, but I follow him, and yes, I know Larry a little bit.
Larry
I think
is
we follow each
amazing.
other, and yeah.
I've had him and his twin brother on the show.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. Hi,
they're
Larry.
incredible. Jose, thank you for sharing. And anybody else watching, please share because this is going to be spectacular. Loa, I'm honored, grateful that Joe Ingram, I love Joe. He thought he was introducing us though.
I know. Joe is one of my favorite humans. He just is the best.
He's a trip. Oh my gosh, I love that dude. He has no filter. Like there's none. Zero filter with Joe.
Yes. Yes.
That's how I
That's
describe
the beauty
it.
of Joe, for sure.
I know. So I've interviewed over 500 celebrities and entrepreneurs, and it's really to help people get unstuck in life. And it's been now over 5 years, and I'm like, I keep hearing these amazing stories, and I know that you have an amazing story. So why don't you start with telling everybody where you were born and raised?
I was born in Phoenix, Arizona, just a little girl born out in the desert, and
Wow.
like in the desert, on the desert, but I was born in Phoenix, and I'm the 7th of 8 children.
Wow.
So yeah, it was like a long shot to end up doing what I ended up doing in my first career. I'm old enough now to have had several gigs, but I worked in Hollywood for 35 years as a makeup artist and traveled around the world and had an amazing time. And that was the beginning of my path, which was the most perfect first step that I could ever have hoped for to bring me into energy medicine.
Wow.
It really
was. So wait a minute, back up. So I didn't think people were actually born in Phoenix.
Yeah. You want to hear something wild? Because you won't meet anyone else who can say this. I was born in Phoenix. My parents were born, both of them born in Arizona. Their parents are born in Arizona. That you won't find that. Yeah. My great-great-grandfather was a pioneer who kind of like helped settle the whole valley. And yeah, we go way back from Arizona.
Oh my God.
But I spent a lot of my life in Los Angeles. I raised my family there, and I was, married, and I that's when I worked in Hollywood as a makeup artist. So now I'm back. I've moved back to the desert.
I'm back. You're back in Phoenix?
I'm back. I'm back in Phoenix. Yes.
She said, "I'm back."
Yes,
so you've wandered your way back into the desert. That sounds almost biblical. But so growing up for you, being 7 out of 8 children, I'm gonna just go ahead and assume your parents did not own a television. So,
They probably
like,
should have watched it more, but
really? Wow. So what was it like for you? That's like that's a lot of kids in one
it
house.
is, and I was basically a feral child. I had the most fun you could ever hope for. I was just basically gone all day, and I'd come back when I felt like it. I had the most amazing tree fort in this giant canopy that was like as big as some people's houses. I mean, it was a wonderful childhood, and it allowed me to explore and create. And I've always been a creator, which is oddly now I've circled back to being a content creator or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I've always created, I've always been an entrepreneur, I've always done my own thing. I've always felt the joy in creating and deciding. And
Wow.
what I didn't know, I didn't know until the last few years that throughout history, throughout thousands of years, the seventh child is the one who often goes into the healing arts, or who is the healer. I was already in the healing arts when I found that out. I didn't even realize that. But yeah,
Wow.
I kind of have all of the things that set me up to be in the healing arts. I have 3 great, I think it's 9 times great grandmothers who were either burned at the stake or hung for being witches. And they were all 3 Christian women. But at that
What?
time, a woman wasn't allowed to know more than a man. So if someone knew more than the local doctor, he was irritated about it. And there are several stories about how they died. There's a monument erected for 2 of them in Salem. And yeah, I mean, I know their names. I have all of their stories. It's all very factual. But
I mean, isn't that, I mean, I mean, a woman shouldn't know more than a man.
yeah, what's wrong with that?
Well, I don't see the problem. No, I'm kidding. So we just lost half of our viewers, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
kidding.
nicely done.
Yeah. So look, Joe says a little known fact.
And that's why we adore each other so much. Joe, you weren't supposed to share that.
He said witches be tripping. Oh my God. What is wrong with him? Oh, I'd keep trying to figure out how to keep him off of my live streams. It just doesn't
You can't.
work.
You can't. Joe does what Joe does.
Joe does what Joe does. I agree. So when you went into to Holly, how in the world does one, so you go to school, you do all that stuff. Did you go to college for
Yes, I was in
makeup
college.
artistry?
I was in college in Utah, and I heard that they were building this amazing studio that was going to be state of the art, better than anything in Los Angeles, and it was the Osmond Studio. So I went there, and I thought, this is great. I will get a job here. I always knew that I had a skill where makeup was concerned. I always knew that I could do it. And I was young. I was just a kid. I was like 18 years old. And I found out later, they had this drawer that was about 8 feet across. The drawer was this high. And when you pull it out of the wall, it went about 12 feet, and it was stacked with applications, because paper back then, back in the day, everything was paper. These were all the job applications of people who wanted the job that I wanted. So
Wow.
I was like an idiot. I was young and like, I'll just go in and get this job. So I typed up a sheet of paper that said 10 reasons why you need to hire me. And it was, I don't know what they were. It was just, and so I walked in and I said, excuse me, who's the production manager? And somebody pointed a guy out, and I like stuck my way over there. And this guy was filling up a fish aquarium. So he was walking down the hall with filling up this fish aquarium and then coming back to move the fish, but he was busy doing that. So I just walked with him. And he's like, well, who are you? Well, I'm blah. And so we just kept talking, and I handed him this paper, and he goes, well, why should I hire you? And I said, well, and he goes, yeah, okay, this is good. Okay, come with me. And we kept filling the aquarium. And then he gave me the job. He said, but here's the thing. We're not hiring makeup artists right now because the show starts on X date. He said, but what I need to do is put you in the building so that we can move you over there. So he gave me a job as a secretary. I suck. I suck at secretarial things. I'm better now, but back then you didn't want me as your secretary.
Right.
But I was great, I can do this. So he made up some title, interoffice communicator, some bullcrap title, and that's what I became. But what that was, it was the most perfect opportunity. I have always been able to read energy, and I sat there in this desk. I could see the hallway, and I learned to tell who was who before you knew who they were, before you could recognize them. You could sense them. There was a certain way that someone who was the gazillionaire who was supporting this whole thing, when he walked in, you could spot him. He moved a certain way. He walked a certain way. There was a certain aura about him. And then you could tell who the peons are, even if they kind of were moving around in the same way. And I just sat there and just kind of practiced that skill and just kind of played with it. And then when the time came up to put me into the makeup room, I went, and I had a bullcrap title. So they moved me right into the makeup department, and it was an amazing job. I had such a great experience. I ended up staying on there. I ended up moving to Los Angeles and just working as a makeup artist for a very long time. And I had a great time. I flew in a lot of private jets. I went to a lot of different countries and places I wouldn't have gotten to go, but it was all just because I had a feeling that I could do something, and I didn't mind just walking up to someone and telling him. And I look back on that, and that really was the start of everything that I've been able to do.
So you said the show, the very first, I mean, what was the first show? Was it anything anybody would know?
Oh yeah, it was the Donnie Marie Show, which at that time in the 80s was, it was the biggest thing going. It was a production show. So that means that there were big, huge, boom cameras and cameras swinging around, and the biggest stars in the world were flown in to be on the show. And it was a very, very intense. I learned a lot about anxiety. My specialty in energy medicine is helping people release anxiety. And I have to tell you, I learned a lot about it right then and there, because that in those days, money would tick by in every second when you're on the set and everything is lit and all the people are there and everything. And when somebody screws something up, oh my gosh, all hell would break loose. And it was this trauma thing. And I was, like I told you, I was a young kid, and I could watch who that stress landed on and how they responded and who it didn't. Some people were more able to be uncomfortable, and they would say, okay, well, what needs to happen? And some people were spinning off just in a rage, freaking out about this time that was ticking by. And it was such an amazing turning point in my life. I learned so much. I was young, and I just I've always been someone who observes, and I watched and I read the energy of it. What I know now that I didn't know then, I'm what you call, Ken, an etheric clairvoyant. And don't be nervous about that. All that means is
what?
Etheric clairvoyant. All that is just a fancy way to say that I read energy. And I always knew that I did. It's just that at this point in my life, I'm 65 years old. I have kind of put that on crack. Like I've honed that skill, and now I can do it more than I ever, in a more efficient way than I ever have. So I was learning as I went, and I was learning so much about where anxiety lands in the body, and who has in their grid the ability to go ahead. Sorry.
I have to interrupt you. I'm not sorry. I did it on purpose. So I'm not going to be a liar and say I'm sorry for interrupting. You are not 65 years old. Stop it right now.
Oh, I am. I absolutely am. I am. And that's why I can talk about the 80s. I mean, it's like it was yesterday. I had that's why I've kind of come through different careers. That's where I started.
Oh my gosh.
You are Joe. Joe is.
He is. He look what he said a little bit ago. I typed comments.
Joe.
He's so bad. So and Joe did connect us for the show, although we already knew each other.
You know what, Ken? When you and I met on TikTok, see, here's the thing. I have a good sense of who is who when I meet them.
Yeah.
And somehow we bumped into each other in a live call or something.
Yeah.
And I knew that you run good energy. And I was like, that's someone who could be my friend, because at this point in life, so many people are running really messed up energy. It's dark, it's dense, it's not moving, it's not healing. And you
Yeah.
get to a point where you're like, you just aren't hanging out with all the gang like you used to. So when I met you, I was like, he runs good energy. I like Ken Walls. And if whatever Ken Walls wants, I'll make that work. So thank you
Wow.
for inviting me and having me on your amazing show.
I'm honored. I mean, my gosh, it's, look, you've done, and we'll get into it here in a little bit, but for those watching, you have 350 some thousand followers just on TikTok, and Instagram is blowing up,
Another
and
300 on Instagram.
what's that?
There's another 300 on Instagram, pretty much.
That's unbelievable. Look,
and they're very different energies, TikTok and Instagram.
Yes, they are. I concur with that. He said you're the queen of reverse aging. So, and I want to get into that as well. So I believe in everything you're saying. I've said it for years. I've studied all of Deepak and Wayne Dyer and love Joe Dispenza. And I do believe that what Einstein said, everything is energy in motion. I totally believe that. And you are like the queen of energy. I don't know how else to put it, right? So talk about when you were doing, makeup in Hollywood. I'm sure that you dealt with some absolutely wonderful people. Glenn Morshower is a very seasoned, 48, 49 years as an actor. You may have worked with him at some point.
I wonder if I had. It was so long ago, and when you do it every day for 35 years, you've pretty much, met everybody you can imagine.
So, but I know that, and Glenn is just, I've seen him with a makeup artist actually on set, and he just treats everybody with so much kindness. But that's not necessarily the rule of thumb in Hollywood, is it?
No, it's not. There's all kinds of different, it's like anything else. And if you catch somebody on a bad day, I just always give them a little grace and whatever. So, wow. And I am not one to ever, I'm a vault. Everyone's information is safe with me. I don't feel the need that when you put that stuff out, when I start talking about anything that is toxic or negative or whatever, I lose this amazing seal that I have for being a vault. And I don't like to call anything back. The energy that you radiate, your magnetism is what you're radiating. That draws to you whatever you're putting out. So I'm really careful about that. And I just offer love to all the memories that I have. And yeah.
Wow. That is, you know what though? That is so powerful. I hope everybody watching just got that. Like that's powerful. That's very, very powerful. So you did the makeup thing, and did you work on movie sets and television?
Yes, I was raising kids, and my goal was to make it so that my kids didn't know that I had a job. So like when they were busy, I would try to be busy, but sometimes I'd be on a film shoot and I had to go away. So I ended up doing a lot of press junkets, a lot of commercial work, a lot of, I have done films and a lot of TV shows, but it led me, finally, I got to a point where I felt like, I've done that. There is something else. And I started gathering women together, just a group of women, and I created a wellness camp in Los Angeles. And that grew and thrived. And I ran this wellness camp for about 10 years. And that was the next step in learning about what's radiating energetically from a physical body, women who are trying to train themselves. And I created a lot of the programs that I use for body conditioning and body sculpting and how to keep your body looking and moving fresh and feeling youthful and full of vitality, because there are so many things in this world that can really kind of make you feel old and tired. So that was such a beautiful experience. And I did not mean for it to be just for women, but it just kind of did that on its own. And then that's what brought me to energy medicine, is starting to work with people one-on-one. So if someone comes to me, they say, often it sounds like this. They'll say, something is off, but I don't know what it is, but I feel this. And it's my job to find out where in their body that is living, because everyone's story is within their field. Everything that's ever happened to you, every thought that you've ever had, every emotion you've ever felt is carried in your auric field, which is about arm's length around you. So if someone comes to me and they don't know why they can't make this work in their life, or they can't make this work in their life, or whatever it is, then it's, in every case, that thing that they're feeling is being held in the energy center that governs a part of their body that is always, in every case, involved. So it's like putting together pieces of a puzzle.
Okay, but I'm really, I think my curiosity is about why you went from, I mean, being a makeup artist for 35 years, that's a long time. That's a long time. And so what in the world made you, what happened? What was the moment where you're like, I got to become an energy healer?
I just kept walking towards it, learning about outward beauty and emotion and anxiety and what drives people. That was the first step. And Hollywood and Los Angeles gave me the most perfect education I could ever have hoped for. And then there was more I needed to learn about the body, because your etheric body holds the energy part of you that we can see. So if we're going to heal that part, we have to work with what's going on within you, within your gut, within your heart, within whatever is happening. So that was so necessary. And then one day I was working out in the gym, and I was, I don't know, in my 40s or something, late. Yeah. And I walked into the gym, and it felt, there's all the clanking of the machines and all the fans running and all the things. Yeah. And it was, to me, it was if something had just gone like that. Nope. It was just a big, this really? Ain't it. And I walked in and I felt that, and I just went, okay, I'm not doing this today. And so I walked down a long hall, and there was a staircase there, and there was no one down there. I took a little yoga mat, rolled it out underneath this staircase. I had privacy down there, and I just sat, and I went within my body, and I meditated, and I connected to all of my energy centers. That was the beginning of I had to get formally trained. Here's the thing about energy medicine. There's all kinds of people, all kinds of things and things that fall under this umbrella that we call energy medicine. And it's really quite terrifying to someone who knows that there is a system. You have to have a way you have to have a system and a way to help someone to put these pieces of the puzzle together. And there are a lot of people who know that they have some level of skill, who want to help people, but they may not be healed themselves, or they may not know how to get to it. They may be able to see it, but they don't know how to get to it and really fix it. So right now, I think the future of energy medicine, because really you win the game of life by feeling great. That's how you win the game of life. And so many people are out to collect money, money, money. Energy is a much harder commodity. It's a much more precious commodity than money. Because anybody can make money, but not anybody can create peace and love and joy and, and share that, radiate that. And that, to me, that's when I met you, I was like, oh, well, he's doing it. There we go. That's my new friend, Ken. It's kind of like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even though we didn't meet face to face, that's how it works. Same thing. We'll see. Joe, of course. Are you still here, Joe? Same thing with everyone's good energy. It's like when you meet people like that, you know that you have to connect, because that's part, it's a purpose to radiate that and share that and help to just heal.
So did you like one day go, okay, I'm no longer doing the makeup thing?
I did. There was a time and I went, that's enough. I've had enough and I've seen enough. And I just knew I had to move on. Yeah.
And
It just didn't feel, it didn't feel like I was grounded in it, because there was a very real inner part of me that was leaning out of it. And I had to follow that.
Jackie says, that's so awesome. Not all about the end reward of money. I think, and there's, that's something that I've spent a lot of time reading and studying and meditating on, is the energy surrounding money. And there is this, my buddy Grant Cardone says, he said, this guy walked up to me after I gave a speech, and, he talks a lot about, you need more money, you need to make money. And this guy walks up and goes, Grant, not everything's about money. And he goes, I looked at him and said, you're broke, aren't you? I mean, so I think about that. I think about, because money is important. I've been homeless and broke, and I've been wealthy, and homeless and broke sucks. So there is this energy, I believe, and I believe it's also a generational thing, around money and the accumulation of wealth. Do you have a problem with that?
No, there's an absolute energy to what the guy said to Grant. It's kind of like, well, not everything's money. I'm saying there's an energy there. Those are just the words he's saying. But the energy that he's radiating is kind of like resentment. There's some bitterness there. There's some fear there. That's we use this word energy. It really, you have to understand what it means and how to use the word, but there truly was. And so when Grant looked at him and said, you're broke, aren't you? Probably accurate. Absolutely. But when you have the skill of making money, at that point, it is your responsibility to look in. Money is an energy, to look in and say, how is the rest of my energy working? How are all of my organs, every part of me, how is it working together to make sure that I'm on this upward path, so that I can make more money, but I can radiate whatever it is that you want to radiate, peace or joy or whatever it is that you're called to do. But that's part of having that skill, because money is an energy. So if you can generate that energy, let's look at the other energy that you can generate. The heart energy is so powerful, and everyone has it. Everyone has it, but the heart speaks in a language that is not words. It is a feeling, it is emotion, and it knows what it wants, and it can share that with you. But most people don't hear it. They think, I need money because of this. I need money because of this. I need to look like this. And that's all a low vibrational energy. And it's totally fine. You can still make money and be low vibrational. But the ultimate game is to make money and be high vibrational, to be an energetically balanced person who can heal themselves. That's how you get into the lane of reverse aging, because everything is healing at this continual clip. And it's beautiful and it's amazing. I can only tell you that. And it's not easy. Some people honestly can't do it. Some people cannot get there because they have sent the energy of their mind over to the money-making section. That's all good. It's awesome. Let's all make lots.
Yeah.
But there is so much to what's happening in your right and left hemispheres of the brain that are controlling this amazing physical body. Let's balance that and then see what you can draw to you.
You said, again, I remember when someone first said to me, you should meditate. And I said, I was newly sober in recovery 21 years ago. And I said, that's evil. That's not in the Bible. What are you talking about? That Jesus wouldn't like that. And this person literally said, Jesus meditated. That's in the Bible. Like, and I just remember thinking back then I was like this Bible thumper Christian that, you're, I don't know. And now I see it completely in a different way. Um, it does not mean that I have, people are like, wow, you've meditated 20 years.
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't feel like I've done anything in 20 years when it comes to that. Right. Like I haven't even scratched the surface.
Well, Jesus said, know thyself.
Yes.
How you know yourself is to go within.
Yeah.
This is all of you. My that is one of my favorite quotes of Christ. And the other one is my favorite thing that he said, whether or not you believe in the Bible, but he said he knew a lot of women. There were women in his life in different
Yeah.
stories, but the
Yeah.
one that he talked about and the thing he said was, don't be like Lot's wife. And Lot's wife looked back. And for me, that is something that I live by. I look forward. I look forward.
Yeah.
I learn more. I do more. I make more. I share more. And
Yeah.
and everything is expanding within my heart and soul and everything that I have. And I don't look back. And for some people, it's hard because if you stay connected to what's back there, and if you talk about an injury like, well, it's my sore this, you're owning it. Every time you say it, you're owning that part of you. If you look forward and allow for whatever is amazing that's coming to you, it can, but you have to be steering the ship in the right direction. Are we just totally off topic, Ken? Is this like not what you
No,
are? I know
that
you
is
got money and
no, that's so like it's perfect what you just said. And I think I ask this normally later in the interview, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it because I think you can expand on it. I also think that the number one answer to this is fear, and I feel like you're going to do better than that. I hope. So I just set you up for failure. I'm kidding. The I'm totally kidding. The the question is this. What do you think because I think that money and happiness and joy, freedom, all of that, I think they are related. That's my opinion only. You can say no, Ken, that's not true and explain that if you'd like, but what do you think holds people back in life from having it all? The money, the freedom, the joy, the health, the everything. What do you think the number one thing is that's holding people back?
I would say their reactive nature. Humans are trained to react. We see things, we do things, we watch this, but we've also become so conditioned to being comfortable. We stay in our comfort zones. Nobody wants to do anything that's not comfortable, but really that's where the growth is. And the reactive nature is like, no, this emotion feels that. So no, that feels like this to me. No, and so we're driven by all of these emotions, but that comes from the thoughts that you think, which are usually wrong. So if you can allow for clarity, if you have the skill to maintain your own energy and create clarity in your mind and not react when something happens, if you
Mm.
let what's happening here float up and really listen, you know exactly what you're doing, and you don't have to be reactive, and you don't have to let your emotion fling you around. And that's how people lose control of their lives, is they start to be driven by their reactive nature and the emotion that they don't know what to do with.
Okay. So I don't even know if I should bring this up, but I will. My wife and her family are going through something. Her brother has um off and on for 44 years had cancer, and um he's really not doing well right now. And there's a lot of emotion, and since he was 6 years old he's been through this, and there's a lot of this energy and emotion around that. And I've sat and spoke, I mean, with my wife a lot about this. When somebody is facing a battle like that, help them shift that energy, because it's a story, it's an energy around the whole thing. How do you, and I know my wife's watching, I don't think she said hi or anything yet, but um how do you help them shift that?
My love to your wife. Big hug to your beautiful wife. That is a hard thing to go through. What's happening in that story, I'm only going by your words, Ken. All I have is what you just said. So that's all I can go by.
Yeah.
But hi, Jill. All I can go by is the timeline on what you said. It's been going on since he was a child. So here is a child who's running a very low vibrational energy because of this illness that is within his body. All of the people around him connect to him through worry and through concern and through helping, and all that feeds back into this pattern of there's just a lot of grief energy and a lot of worry and stress. And this is the hard part. No one can heal him for him. Every person in that scenario is only in charge of their own energy. And when you can maintain what you're radiating and you can allow for peace within your own field, when you're near him, you will nurture him with that. When you're near him with fear and like, oh no, and all the thoughts and the memories, oh, this sucks so much, and all of that grief. And I'm so sorry for it. I know it's a lot, and I would never, ever make light of anyone going through this. And but I would just say that you really can help him by allowing yourself to radiate love and health and joy. And then you keep your energetic boundaries in place. Then when you're near him, you're not creating any kind of an energetic scenario. He then can really be with what he has, the energy of his own system and body. And he will feel this light coming at him just because people around him are radiating this love towards him. It's not fear. It's not you poor thing. It's not all of that pity stuff. He will feel that, and that will create a shift. And whatever comes through it, we are each in charge of our own experience. Everybody has our own journey that we're here to learn. And I wish all of you love and peace on that. I really do.
It was so, what you just said, I think, was unbelievably powerful. So thank you for that. And you're right. My wife literally said last night, and Jesus said a prophet is useless in his own town. So I've said,
well, is that the truth? Oh,
it's the truth. And she said,
yes, true.
she said, she literally said out loud to me, oh my God, the worrying is so, how did she put it? It's so taxing, like it's wearing me out, worrying. And I said, well, worrying is the opposite of faith. And she said, I know. And, and I know I've learned to just, exhausting. Yeah. She said exhausting. She said, you are right.
It's the sixth chakra. It's all in this sixth energy center. That's where worry and fear lives. And so that absolutely gets in the way of your brain runs your body. It gets in the way of what your body needs to do to heal you. And it can make the people who are worried and caring for this person, it can make them feel really old and tired.
Yeah, she said, and he's never complained. He's always been positive about it. Amazing. He's 50 years old, and he's never complained about it. I'd never heard him complain about it. And they're just shocked. She says in the last 6 weeks, it's become very, very aggressive. And the doctor even said something that shocked them really, really bad. So, there's just been a lot of fear around it in the last few weeks, and I don't know if it's rightfully so, but
my love goes out to Jill and everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone has a scenario in their life. Everyone has a story. That's one thing I know for a fact. Everybody's got a story. So everyone, maybe their stress is relationship stress. Maybe somebody just can't get a marriage to work, or maybe somebody just can't get their financial life to take hold, or maybe whatever it is. Everybody has something that is energetically unbalanced for them. Doing your own shadow work. And that's when you just go within your own body and you find those places, those things that have made you feel, I call it some kind of way. Like maybe there's something in there that you always react in a way like, well, they don't really like me that much, or well, I don't, that really wasn't for me, or what, those little moments, like when you can catch that, if you ever catch yourself in one of those, you want to take a moment and follow that back and see where that lives and how it got there in the first place. It got there by someone else's words, someone else's issue, someone else's behavior or thoughts or whatever that was then landed on you. And so it's a little trait or a behavior or a way of thinking that you carry with you. Some people their whole lives, and they never figure out how to unload it. But everyone has a different thing that they're learning from in their life. And this is what I do all day long is people come to me and say, here's what I'm feeling, and this is what's going on in my life, and I don't know what's happening. And we look to find the way where it is in the body. We try to resolve that. Sometimes, here's the best news I could ever give you. Energy has patterns. And sometimes if you just can't get to the shadow work, if you just can't let yourself go back and relive a trauma or even think about anything, sometimes some people are able to manipulate their own energy into a flow that will begin to do that healing work anyway. And it's the most powerful thing. But it comes down to whether or not you can contain your own field. That means, like an empath, for example, an empath does not contain their field. I always tell my clients, don't be an empath. Be compassionate. Compassion is awesome. You retain your power. You retain the ability to help them. But an empath is someone who feels what they feel. And it's kind of like, goes back to if someone's ill, you don't want to get into that situation. You don't want to feel what they feel. You want to radiate a higher vibration that helps them. So if you're compassionate, you can do that.
But okay, so okay, again, I everything that you're saying, I agree with everything. I've read it, I've experienced it, I've meditated on it, I've heard all of the, not every, and obviously there's some nuances that are different, but my question for you is, if somebody is in a pattern of fear, worrying about her brother, or worrying about finances, like it's a generational, I remember growing up, no, we don't have the money. You think money grows on trees, all of the stuff, right? And you know, I know that followed me into my adult life for quite a while, although it's not as prevalent for me anymore. How does somebody change that? I mean, we might lose Joe on this, but you know, there's only two genders, male and female, and you can't, I mean, I don't know how you change that about yourself. Like how does one go about changing something that's really, really ingrained, like fear or you know, worry? That's because that's almost like an ingrained pattern. Is that right? Am I saying the right word? I don't know.
Yeah. So if someone has had chronic worry in their life, they've worried for a long time about something.
Yeah.
That depletes their spleen energy, because you have 14 major meridians within your body. Your spleen meridian. I love it so much because it's kind of like the mama. It's the meridian that's making sure that you have this and this flows there and everything is held together. And I love this channel so much. But when you worry chronically for a really long time, your spleen energy is tired and it gets really low and really vibrational, and it's not able to do what it does. So the first thing I would do is I would help that person, if they came to me and said, this is my problem, I've had this and I've been worried sick for 10 years, that's where we would start. We would look at that energy. We would go in and begin a practice to heal their spleen channel and their spleen energy. We would just start to work together to bring that energy up. And then it's a continual process. Then you move to the next thing. Well, why are you worried? What happened? Well, this happened. And then you kind of get behind the emotion of that thing that happened. And that emotion, we go behind that emotion to what happened back there. And if you keep following it back, you can find a place where something landed on your spirit to make you believe something that is probably not true. And when you can wrap your own energy and your own soul around letting that go, it's like, boom, it all opens up. And that's why I say energy has patterns. Sometimes you can begin to just do the energy work of it, like healing your spleen channel. Sometimes that will help heal what's back there. It all works together because your energy and your emotion are intimately intertwined. They work as one. So if you're working with one, you're working with the other.
Okay. So I have a question for you. Is there any time that you just get pissed off?
Not anymore. No, not anymore.
Wow.
No, I have learned to feel my emotions in a different way. And there's not very many things that could happen that would make me feel like that. I don't know. Maybe there's something, I don't know what it would be, but I don't do that anymore because I understand emotion and what it is. And, I always say Marcus Aurelius, I love to read him. He's my boyfriend. And I like to believe that if he and I lived at the same time, we would have been a thing. And he talks about your equanimity, being able to, whatever is happening, whatever battlefield you're on, work with what's inside you. And that's where the answers are. And that's how I live my life during the day.
I always say, Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you. Seek ye first this kingdom and all of its righteousness, and all things shall be revealed unto you. And I think about that. I mean, he had to be talking about look inside, go inside.
Yes.
And
I believe that he was. And that really is the place that so many people are afraid to go. So for me, as an etheric clairvoyant, that just means I read energy. Like I was saying, if I meet someone who is a gazillionaire and they're running like a dark, dense energy, that doesn't, like Shania Twain, that don't impress me much. It's like, you know what? You figured out one little piece of your this journey that you're on, but you got a whole lot of stuff that needs to be cared for and nurtured. But if I meet someone who it runs really good energy and they're able to they know their purpose, that's the main thing, because the highest vibration out of all vibration, and it's not love, the highest vibration is authenticity, to be yourself. So if you can be yourself and then make your fortune and then have your relationship go well, that's when you are vibrating at the top of that pyramid. And conversely, what vibrates the very lowest of all vibration, if I asked you what you thought that would be, what do you think that would be, Ken? The lowest vibration of all.
Well, I mean, I think apathy is probably the lowest, but as far as action from a human being, I would say being a people pleaser, the exact opposite of being authentic.
Very, very excellent guesses. And you really got way down low on the pyramid, but there are a couple that go below that. And this surprised me when I first know it's just right before death, but it's shame and guilt.
Yeah. Yes.
Apathy just bumps up a notch from those, but to feel shame and to feel guilt vibrates at the very lowest frequency possible. And when your frequency is that low, your body cannot heal itself. So if you want to talk about reverse aging, we have to get your body vibrating at a frequency that is up at the top of this pyramid. So you are choose love in every. Thank you, Lana. That's beautiful. So that you are experiencing that high vibrational frequency. That's when you are in your purpose. Like, are you in your purpose, Ken?
Yes.
Yes. Of course,
1000%. Yes.
I know that you are. And I'm in my purpose. There is no question in my mind. That's a very big part of creating that high vibration. And that's how you share with the world. We got a lot of stuff going on this planet right now. We need to have a few of us who are energetic badasses that can create that high vibration and still know how to be in the world, still be representing things that need to be talked about and learned, and still making money, still financially successful, all of those things. But it's an energetic package that just vibrates from the center out.
Wow. If you had, let's say that you had the opportunity to speak to all 8.2 billion people on planet Earth at one time, and they all could hear a message, what would you say to everyone that hears you to help them have a better life?
Well, I'm a very practical person. So spiritually, there may be something else I would like to say, but the practical side of me, doing what I do all day long, the first thing that I would say, because I know this is the first step that most people need to get to in order to heal whatever it is they're trying to heal, I would say, just know that Mother Earth she is connected to you. Connect yourself to her. Send a grounding cord down. Connect to the earth and let her be there for you. If you're keeping your energy separate, if you're always up here in your head, always up here doing and thinking, and you're not in that beautiful lower center that allows your energy to drift down, that's where you offload the junk and the stuff that you don't want to feel, your lowest stuff that you don't need. And she is there with a frequency that I could do it just right here. You can draw that frequency right up through the channels of your body, and that is what heals you. So I had to get practical there, Ken, because that's the first thing that I would say. That's the first thing that I teach with my clients is you've got to know how to ground yourself. And it doesn't mean walking in the grass and walking on the beach. Yes, those are very grounding and you are connecting to the frequency of the earth. But I'm sitting right here in my studio at home. I have a tile floor. I can connect my grounding cord right here, and whoever's listening can do it right where they are. They can send that grounding cord down, straight down, put it in place, draw up what you need when you need it, anytime. I love to walk on the beach. No one's as happy as I am walking on the beach, but I'm not there every day. But I can do this every day, and so can you.
Wow. I'm sorry, I was sitting here practicing that.
Are you grounding? Oh, that's so good. I love that. I hope there were others grounding with us. So it's amazing.
I think you're amazing. I think, first off, everybody needs to follow you on TikTok and Instagram, at least. Excuse me. And
I'm Halo everywhere. I'm Halo on Instagram, Halo_ on TikTok. I'm Haloa.com. And can I offer a gift, Ken? Would that be okay to your listeners?
Of course, that'd be awesome. And if there's a website address, tell me and I'll put it up on the screen.
It's Haloa.com, and then reach me through there, and then I can give you this gift. When COVID happened, do you remember at the beginning, everyone was terrified. What's happening? We're stuck in the house. Oh no, we're trapped. Fear, all the things in that moment. And nobody could go anywhere or do anything. And I thought, you know what? Let's just bring ourselves together. We're going to do face yoga. We'll all come together, and just the women started to come together. And I did it for free. Don't worry. Everybody's worried about their income and everybody's not sure about their job. It's just free. Just come and let's do this. Well, the class still functions and it's amazing. It is a fusion of face fitness, exercising, making sure that all this structure stays toned, making sure that you're radiating love and light through your face. It's so much more than face yoga. So there are several things. There's energy medicine happening. There are several things in this fusion. No one teaches it the way I do, and that's a fact. So that's a live class. And if anyone would like to come, the class is now $20 a class, but I would like to offer everybody listening a free opportunity to try it on any Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So
that is so nice.
Yes, no, I would love for everyone to try it. It's really my way of just saying, just feel this energy. We're going to get you connected a little bit this morning. And it's amazing. And then what happens in your face is your face just ends up just smooth and lovely. It's really, and we do face yoga. There's definite exercise there.
So, okay. So now you just opened the door and I'm walking through it. I'm sorry. You said it earlier. You said that you're 65 years old, which is just mind-boggling to me. Like mind-boggling. So my question is, how much Botox have you done?
Not any at all. No,
it was a rhetorical question.
Yes, no, not any. I don't want that to live in my face. I teach an exercise where you can do Botox on yourself with your intention. I don't need someone to shoot this and freeze it. I can take my intention there and I can freeze this. I don't have to have anger in my face. I don't have to wrinkle this up when I'm irritated or upset. I manage my face the way I want to manage it. And that's what I teach. So yeah, come to face yoga. It's so fun. And you walk away free of anxiety too. You feel really good at the end. So
wow, mine's frozen.
How much have you had? Oh, whoops, sorry.
0. I can never understand injecting food poisoning into your because that's what it is.
Yeah. You know, and see right here, if you take 2 fingers, this is one little piece of face yoga. This right here, this is on a stomach point. This is one I want you to learn, Ken. We'll talk another time. But this is a stomach point, but it's also a lymphatic drainage point. So if you get injectables here, you've just blocked that point. So what's going to follow is kind of like a ruddiness, kind of like a weird puffiness. So yeah, I don't do any of that. I take care of my face the way I care for it. And I share that in my Reverse Aging Masterclass. So I have a masterclass that I created that I share everything about the spine and the body and about the face. And I just want to invite your listeners to look at that and join me in the masterclass. It has everything.
Wow.
The right way.
That is so nice. You're amazing. And thank you for following me on TikTok too, because that makes my status go up.
Yes, no, it's awesome to be with you there. And I want to meet your wife because it's funny. When you meet someone who runs good energy, you kind of know, you have a sense of who they hang out with. So Jill, you and I need to meet sometime.
Yes,
I have a feeling. So
I want you guys to meet. Definitely. So, Loa, I cannot believe that it feels like we just got on here a couple minutes ago. This has gone like that. And she said for sure.
That's how you know reverse aging is real. Time is relative. If you can get your body to heal at its most amazing clip, and if you can get time to do what you just said, that's when you're going in the reverse. And that is the explanation of reverse aging. That's what I share. So you set me up for that, Ken. I had to just jump right in there. And thank you.
That is unreal. I could talk to you for another 2 hours because I have so many questions. Maybe we do a Hey Loa series with you or something. I would love that.
I would love that. I think, Ken, that there are some really beautiful people that follow you and who listen to what you say and who respect you. And I would very much, if the practical side of me wants to help in any way that I can, if there's something that I can do there, absolutely would love to just connect again. You're such a master at what you do, Ken. You really are. And it's because of what we talked about at the very beginning. It's your flow.
I look at that, I receive that and I say, and thank you for that. But when I started this, there was no intention on that. Like I was just like, I'm just going to interview people because I was stuck. I'm like, you know what? If I just interview enough people, I'll figure it out. And I have, and I love it. And I got to tell you that I believe in God. I believe that God always sends um, what our spirit is crying for at any given moment. And
Yes.
and and and
You
and
have to
here
have a
you are.
source. Oh, that's a whole other conversation. You
Yeah,
have to have a source. And so many
yeah,
people now
yeah,
don't have a source. So,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Well, we
not
got so much
CNN.
exactly. There's a lot
if
more to cover. Thanks,
if
Larry. Thank you, Larry.
yeah, Larry,
But
you're
yeah,
awesome,
well,
dude.
we have
I
more to
need,
discuss. It was great
yeah.
hanging out with you, Ken. You really are
Well,
just
you're amazing. Thank you so much. And everybody watching, if you're not following Loa on Instagram and TikTok, shame
Halo.
on you.
I'm Halo.
I'm kidding. I just said shame in that.
You know, you just used the lowest vibration. Well done.
Uh, get out of shame and go follow her. Come on.
That's
What's wrong with you? So anyway, Loa, thank you so much. Everybody
my
watching,
total pleasure.
if you shared this out, thank you. If you didn't share it out, there's still time to redeem yourself. You can share it out now. Thank you so much. Loa, thank you. And stay with me. I'm going to end the live stream, but thank you so much. You've been amazing.
My pleasure. Thank you, Ken.
All righty.